Today, I'm going to talk to you about the three biggest myths I've heard about social media and teach you the truths, the beliefs that you need to understand in order to make it effective for your business and less stressful for you. But first, I want to start with the question. How would you like an extra week of vacation? A week's worth of time away from your business that you don't feel like you have to spend on it or even thinking about it. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, it turns out that that's about the amount of time business owners spend on average on their social media marketing every year. Comes out to about 150 hours or 3 hours a week. But a lot of people spend a lot more than that. According to a survey that I did of business owners, 24% of them said they spend up to 6 hours a week on their social media, and 20% spend more than that. That's 312 hours a year or almost 2 weeks. And time is just one of the challenges that's most often cited by business owners when it comes to doing their marketing on social media. A big factor in how much time you spend is how many platforms you're on. More than half of business owners say they're on 3 or more. And I know so many smart entrepreneurs who either struggle with the differences between platforms or don't make changes that are required between platforms and then wonder why things aren't working for them. And with anything that you're spending this much time or getting frustrated about in your business, you have to ask, why are you doing it? Now, a lot of people felt they needed to. In some cases, they were told to, but really are not sure if it's effective. And again, it kind of depends what you're doing on social media, not just checking the box that you're doing it. Maybe you post whenever something comes to you, or only when you have something to sell or promote. Or maybe you do the opposite and you think it only works if you post a lot. About 60% of people surveyed said they post multiple times a week, sometimes more than 5 times a week. And there's so much that goes into that. You have to find or take the photos or video, or create the graphics, and writing the captions, and maybe doing some research that goes into writing that caption, and then posting it on all those multiple platforms, responding to comments as they come in, and it's a lot, right? So a really important question to ask is social media marketing helping you bring in revenue? Now, the good news is a good chunk of people I asked said, yes, they're confident that it is. 28% said they think it's helpful, but aren't sure how much. And the rest said they don't really think it's helping their business, or they admitted they simply don't know. And part of how you know is if you check your metrics, see what's working and what's not working. And again, I totally get it. That starts to sound like a lot of work. And all in, I think it's making a lot of people avoid or abandon social media as a means to reach more people that you can help with your business. And if you can reach more people you can help, you can have a bigger impact in the world. And I think that's what most of us are in our business to do. We built our business because we want to contribute to the world in our own special way, while also enjoying your life. You want to have time and energy for your family, your friends, hobbies and passions. You got into your business to do something else that you care about, not online marketing. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be overwhelming if you have a solid strategy customized for your business and who you want to attract. There's really important pieces in what I just said. And I hear so many misconceptions from business owners and even from the media and other gurus and experts, influencers. And honestly, I don't know. I feel like they're trying to scare you, and I don't know why. But for a lot of people just trying to do good in the world, it's not helping. So today I want to break down some of the biggest myths and misconceptions that I hear about social media and open your eyes to the truth, the opportunities that you can find there. So what are these 3 myths? Number 1, you need to be on every platform. Number 2, you need to become an expert in every new tool as soon as they come out. And number 3, you need 10,000 followers to make money. Think for a moment if you've ever either heard this or thought this yourself. So let's break them down here a little more. Myth number 1, you have to get on every platform. There are many of them. I operate on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. That's kind of a lot. I'll get to that in a sec. But there are a lot more: Pinterest, YouTube, Clubhouse, TikTok, Snapchat, on and on. When I worked for a company, I remember the social media marketing team telling me their managers wanted them to be on Snapchat. And they didn't really think that was the right audience for them, but the managers thought this is the hot new thing, so let's get on it. And they spent, gosh, probably more than 100 hours trying to build a Snapchat account and following. I'm pretty sure that's still not successful for them. Because again, do you really have to be on every platform? So that was Snapchat a few years ago. More recently, TikTok has been a really hot one, and Clubhouse came on the scene, the all audio one. It was really popular and talked about a lot for a while. And that was about a year ago from when I'm recording this. And I don't hear anything about it anymore already. So there's just a lot, but which ones do you pick? I literally saw a blog post at the beginning of 2021 that said 103 social media sites that you need to know in 2021. And my immediate reaction to that headline was, no, you don't. You don't need to know that many, not even close. Because if you can focus your energy on things that work for you, on places that work, you'll have more time for your family and friends, your hobbies, and other parts of your business that light you up. So instead of that first myth, secret number one is you can easily transform your online presence and develop raving fans by following a proven, reliable strategy. And I found this out myself. It's part of my own story. I first took a serious look at social media marketing about 6 years ago, taking an online certification course through Northwestern University and picking up my first client on the side of my corporate job. That client is a nonprofit that I still love working with. And I incorporate everything I learned as part of that job in corporate I also had, I just mentioned, where I handled the company's promotion for they had a magazine for their own employees. And when I officially launched my own business, I opened business accounts on the 4 platforms that my clients were already on. I just said Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. But it didn't take me too long to feel like 4 was too many for me. I was a solopreneur doing it all myself. So I had to look at what's effective and where am I most likely to be finding the right kind of people, those raving fans. And so I eased up on how much I try to post on Twitter. I looked at the metrics, and using what I know about the demographics of each platform and what people look for in each platform, it was really clear that that's not a place where people look for social media help, or not as much. News, yes. It's a great platform for a couple of my clients who put out news and information and like being a resource for information for their audience, for their members. But for me, it didn't really make sense. So at that point in my business, I took it out as part of my strategy. Like I said, it does work great for some of my clients, which is why it's important to figure out or get help with a customized strategy for you and your clientele. And I pay a lot of attention to that on my clients' behalf. I read a lot about changes in the platforms, the demographics, because even though we kind of have a sense of who's on what platform, it definitely changes, sometimes kind of quickly. And also paying a lot of attention to what works and what doesn't so that my clients don't have to. Because throwing spaghetti at the wall will not help your business grow. It'll just frustrate you. So another variation on that myth is myth number 2, that you have to become an expert in every new tool. You have to do all the things, use all the tools, keep up on all the changes, and beat the algorithm. Little side note here, kind of mini secret, you can't beat the algorithm, don't even bother. But it's figuring out what you actually need to do that makes sense for you and your business. So I have to share something that I heard, and this was just comical to me. It was another expert at a media agency talking about what was the optimum amount of content to post on Instagram weekly. This is just Instagram. She said you have to post 8 to 10 stories, 4 to 7 reels, 3 photos, 1 video, 3 minutes of IGTV. Yes, that's different than video, and go live for an hour every week. And that's just Instagram. I don't know about you, but I don't know too many business owners who want to spend that much time on Instagram. They don't even want to spend that much time on social media altogether. And I remember hearing another person on a call I was on talking about all videos need to have multiple camera angles and fast editing, changing the angle every few seconds to keep the audience's attention. And I like scratched my head. I was just thinking, who has resources for that? I don't know a single entrepreneur who either has the time and inclination to do that, or several $1,000s to have a professional video editor do it every month. And even I was listening to that, and it kind of makes you want to throw in the towel and blow off social media. But again, that's really not a good way to grow your business. So I also came across this story. Survey shows social media marketing is more exhausting than scaling Everest. And as I read all the details in this, I feel bad for people who feel this way. But I also have to think, much like if you decided, I'm going to climb Mount Everest, why would you ever go without a guide? You'd want to have a guide who's done this before, several times, with several different types of people, who's faced a lot of the challenges that are inherent in taking on that kind of endeavor and already figured it out, already has the solutions. You need that kind of roadmap, that guide for anything big like that. And the thing is, something that a guide usually knows is that it doesn't necessarily have to be that exhausting or mysterious. At least on social media, what you need is a formula that works from a guide. So secret number 2 is, I've figured out, there are just 5 elements to a perfect social media post. A repeatable formula you can use every single time so that you consistently click with your ideal clients, stop the scroll, and get them to take the next step toward working with you. Now, I can't go into detail about what these 5 steps are because it's the basis of a hands-on, probably all-day workshop that I'm creating. But the gist is, it's about what subjects make the most effective content, how to write captions, the best types of imagery to use and how to get it, and a couple other things that you need to include in your posts in order to get in front of more people. So if you want to hear when that workshop is available, join my email list. You'll have my email from watching this anyways. So one sec. Myth number 3 is you need 10,000 followers to make money. That's a big number for a lot of small businesses. So they try paying for ads or create a slick funnel that's expensive, or possibly buy shady followers. We all get those messages that, here, we can get 3,000 followers a day for you. Or they do all of the above. But the important factor here is it's not about the number. I've heard a lot of other social media managers who have clients that say, I want you to get me 1,000 new followers a month. And often that's just out of whack with their market. If you're a local restaurant, like my town has about 100,000 people, you're not going to have 1,000 new followers a month for a restaurant in a town that size. But more importantly, for really any kind of business, you have to think about how many customers are you looking for? How many people do you want to raise their hand? Most coaches I talk to say they'd be pretty happy with 3 to 5 a month. Consultants, people in professional services, financial advisors and the like, they say about the same. Now, it could be a little different if you sell a product that's, say, under $100. Yeah, you need more purchases. But still, could you even handle thousands at one time? And the other thing to consider here is there are a lot of people with thousands of followers who don't make money. I know someone who has an account, an Instagram account for his unique breed of cats. He has almost 11,000 followers, but he doesn't make a penny. On the other hand, I know a business coach who has a Facebook group that only has a few hundred members, but she's told me point blank, it's amazing how much business she generates there. So the 2 numbers, followers and dollars, are not correlated, which is great news. It means you don't have to waste your time, energy, or money trying to get a giant following if you don't have a strategy and guidance to turn them into clients. they don't really have a good connection to you. And I learned this working with my first client. We went from posts like this, the previous executive director would share things that end up kind of technical. Let me back up. They're a all organic, sustainably farmed garden that donates most of their produce to soup kitchens and food pantries. And they would share a lot of technical stuff like what variety of heirloom cucumber they're planting. And so when I came on board, I wanted to help them grow an audience. I think this place is such a gem in our town. And I realized that what matters is not the number of people, but having a group of people that cares deeply, that feels connected to what you offer, and is willing to raise their hands. You need to build that connection before asking people to open their wallets, or in this case, spend hours weeding. So we went from posts like this that have 11 likes. We did a lot of experimentation, different types of photos, different captions, different lengths of captions, adding video, seeing what people would comment on or share, looking at the metrics and adjusting accordingly. And I have to tell you, it really worked. We went to posts like this that have way more comments, shares. People tag each other. They tag, other volunteers or their friends in posts like this that can be for the whole town. This one reached 4,700 people. That's connection. That's what you're going for. Now, I'm really a pragmatist, and I still have to ask, does it bring in revenue? In this case, yes, this post is actually for a fundraiser they do every summer. So having 4,700 people see it is very, very helpful. This one was from a different campaign we did at the beginning of 2020 when COVID-19 kind of had everybody sheltering in place. And I got the sense kind of throughout the world that people want to know, like, what can they do to help? Like, you don't want to feel helpless in a situation like that. And so I suggested making the connection between how we help people who are hurt by COVID-19. And like I said, this organization donates all its food to everything it grows to food pantries and soup kitchens. And one of the groups of people that they serve are people who are unemployed, and unemployment skyrocketed at the beginning of the pandemic. So I spearheaded a campaign. We put it together pretty quickly and kind of tacked it onto an extra Giving Tuesday campaign. That's a national campaign that a lot of nonprofits participate in. We sent out one email, we did a few social posts, and we raised 10 times more money than I had even dared to hope for. We were really blown away by the response, we being the executive director, the board, and I, because what this told us is that we now have fans that we can go to for support. Turns out the organization had to do something similar a few months later. They had their one and only tractor, Betsy, broke down, and they needed quite a bit of money to repair her. And so they asked for donations, and we were able to repeat it. We got thousands of dollars in a few days. That's the kind of connection that you want to build with people. And you can do it with a lot of people through social media marketing. This is another client of mine. And when we first started working together, she admitted that on her own, she was pretty random about posting. So we came up with a strategy, I came up with a strategy, and as we started to implement it, she got a client through Facebook in the first month. And over time, she said, kind of what it says here, is that it got really clear to her how much more people were aware of her. They knew what kind of work she did, and they saw her as the go-to photographer in her area. She was the expert in the kinds of photos that she took. And as you can see, these are two very different clients. One's a photographer, one's a nonprofit. And it kind of speaks to something that I feel like I've gotten good at over a 20-year communications and marketing career. I've learned to talk to everyone from CEOs and multi-billion-dollar fund managers to engineers, government officials, professional salespeople, parents, and everything in between. And with all of that, getting those kind of results takes a lot of strategizing, consistent messaging, testing, and analysis. And it's part of a complete system that I use with my clients or teach them in my program. But I gotta tell you, it's so worth it, because secret number 3 is that you build a business by matching the right audience with the right messaging. And I know that sounds simple. And again, kind of like the others, there's a lot of little nuances to it that a guide can help you with. But the best part I'll tell you right now is that I can almost guarantee that you already know what to say in order to do this, to build a business in what you do. And it's possible that you're just not saying it, or maybe saying it to the wrong people, or maybe missing some of those 5 elements of a perfect post. But you do know what to say that can be formed into the right messaging and matched with the right audience so that you can thrive. So let's recap. The secrets to dispel the 3 most common myths about social media. Number 1, instead of having to be on all the platforms, you can transform your online presence and develop loyal fans with a proven, reliable strategy. Instead of learning all the tools as soon as they come out and doing all the things, there are just 5 repeatable elements to every perfect social media post. It's a formula that you use so that you can consistently click with your ideal clients. And number 3, instead of aiming to round up 10,000 followers, you can make money by matching the right audience with the right messaging. So then, how do you do all that instead of spinning your wheels, right? Natural question. And I'm pretty sure you don't want to spend years learning all of it or keeping up on everything because it changes constantly. But you want the results. And I understand that sometimes your marketing can feel like a full-time job. So many entrepreneurs told me that they don't enjoy doing social media. About half of business owners admitted it sometimes feels like a chore, and 20% said they full-on dread it. But if what you want is to feel calm, powerful, and confident that spending time on social media will attract you loyal fans and make you money, then the solution is partnering with an expert. The real answer is you need a customized strategy and someone experienced with the technology and communicating effectively online in order to attract the right people. You can reach lots of potential customers who are looking for exactly what you offer without spending a ton of time or throwing spaghetti at the wall. Now, I can hear so many people's thoughts right about now, feels like. So if you're worried about the expense, like so many things, I encourage you to think about the cost of inaction, of continuing to do things the way you've been doing them. You want to get help so that your resources get used more effectively, more efficiently. And you measure what's working, that you make sure you're attracting the right audience, that you're bringing in business so that you can enjoy all that other stuff in your life, family, friends, hobbies, right? That has a lot of value. And you don't have to dread this. You want a partner and a guide who's already learned how to market effectively on social, who gets to know you and your business well enough so that you're working strategically, that you're maximizing your efforts, and you get the attention of the right people, that you get to tell your story so they connect with you and want to work with you. Now, at the beginning, we talked about how much time people spend on social media. And 3 hours a week was the most common answer, but some people said a lot more. They said up to 10 hours a week. That's 520 hours a year. So you got to look at how much that costs you in dollars and other missed opportunities. Now, the good news is you have a choice. So I want you to imagine what it would look like to attract the people you want to attract and not have to do this blind and alone anymore. We all love talking about the talent we have and that we want to share with the world to help people live happier, healthier, more prosperous lives. So picture being able to help more people do that. For me, my purpose is to teach and support entrepreneurs so that we can do that for more people, that they can share their gift and maybe, hopefully, even have fun doing it. So I want you to think about what would your life look like if you can solve this problem. If you're ready to take a baby step and want more ideas about what to say so that you have that right messaging to go with the right audience, I encourage you to pick up my free social media calendar. It'll give you a quick plan so that you can be consistent online and show up in ways that will attract the right kind of clients for you. But if you're ready to go further, we can get together on a call. No pressure. See if something's right for you, if I can help. This is the link, and it'll also get sent to you in email. So I hope you now see how some of the maybe unconscious beliefs you've had about social media have been keeping you from succeeding. You don't have to waste your time checking the box and not knowing if doing this is helping you grow or helping you reach your goals. You can choose to get support so that you can impact more lives, including your own, by growing your business. I want to leave you with a thought that applies to all parts of your business. Businesses don't have a choice of whether or not to do social media. Their choice is how well they do it. And like I said, I think that's true of everything in your business. You want quality and effectiveness over just winging it.